Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Eclectic Knitter podcast. My name is Raylene. My Ravelry user ID is Kamana Knits. You can find show notes for this episode, as always, at theeclecticknitter.com. Episodes are uploaded to iTunes, to YouTube, and it's on the blog. There's also a link in the Ravelry group to the show notes on the blog. If you don't want to find it otherwise, it's up there. So yeah, I have actually done this setup once before, but realized I had forgotten a finished object that I don't even know if I showed last week. I think I did, but I don't remember if I showed it. So yeah, I ran to get that and then decided to just start over. May as well. I need to start looking at the camera more and not at myself on the computer screen. I'm doing kind of the hokey where I have the laptop on my lap, which is why there's a little bit of jiggling. But I figure it's still better to record at all, despite the jiggle. There's a lot of jiggling that goes on in this house. So maybe that will be a little bit. And if I move my hands, it won't. I don't know. But better to do this than to not record at all. So I have done quite a bit of work, I feel, in the last 2 weeks. The last time I talked, I was sick. I'm obviously sounding better. I am still coughing at night sometimes, sometimes keeps me up. And I am still blowing my nose, like I'll be fine, and then all of a sudden my nose will be running. But otherwise I'm fine. Yeah, and then it's just been a interesting couple of weeks. My parents were out the day that I last recorded. As I said, they arrived a week early. Their plans in Alberta got changed. They couldn't get a camping spot, so they came out here a week early. They left the next week on the Wednesday morning. It was a good visit. We ran around to some quilt stores. My mom quilts, so we did that. And they helped me out here around the house a bit. So they helped me put up blackout curtains in my bedroom. And I bought a barbecue, and my dad helped me put it together. And that was our Sunday afternoon, was building a barbecue. Yay! We're so exciting. And they met the dog, and that went okay. He's a brat. My mom doesn't like big dogs, so it was kind of an iffy situation to start. And then one of the first times, I brought him to the campsite and he was fine. And then Mom wanted to eat inside. So I clipped him to the picnic table, and we had just the screen door closed so he could still see me. And he whined and carried on and cried as if his world was coming to an end the whole time we were eating supper. So howling and was trouble. So anyway, I have a lot of finished objects. Well, 3 finished objects. 2 of which I believe, like I said, one of them I'm pretty sure you've seen it before, and I know that you've seen the big one, but then I have a 3rd finished object that I finished in a night. It's a little bit small, but it fits me, so that's all that matters. The first thing I'm going to show is I have a bunch of Tosh DK in Victorian Gothic. I was going to do, what was I going to do? A Revel cardigan out of it, I think. And then I ended up doing Anchor by Cecilia Glowick McDonald. But that didn't use nearly all of it. I had 8 or 9 skeins of it, and it only used 1,500 yards. It's a DK weight by Madeline Tosh. This is not washed. This is a Winds Chief hat. I did not do twisted rib. I didn't realize it till I was almost through the ribbing that I was supposed to be doing a twisted, so I just carried on doing a regular ribbing, even for so it's a little bit more, it's not as neat as it's supposed to be, this section here. I was going to make this for a friend that I still need to send a Christmas present to, but it barely fits me, because I thought I only had to do 5 inches before I started the decreases, and then when I read the pattern after I had already done most of the decreases, it was supposed to be 5.5. And really, even for me, it should be longer. Uh, I haven't washed it yet though, so it could grow a bit in blocking. We'll see how that goes. But this is a great pattern. It works really well for heavy DK or worsted weight yarns. It's knit on US size 6 and size 7. I really love the Victorian Gothic colorway. It's like this dark gray. See, that's fairly accurate to color right here with the lighter bits and stuff. So it turned out nice. It's not the first one I've done of those. Probably won't be my last either. The next thing is I finished my Martian Rainbow socks. This is out of Mustache Yarns. I have not worn these yet. It's been too hot to wear socks. I did the ribbing on size 0s, and then I switched to a size 1 for the rest of it because it's a lighter. Mustache's perfect self-striping is a lighter weight, so you get 440 yards per 100 grams. So I've been trying to go up to a US size 1 instead of a 0, so it's a 2.25 millimeters for the body. And then I just threw in this little 4-stitch cable up the side that it is not focusing on. And I did alternate which sides that was on. And then it's an afterthought heel. And even the afterthought heel ended up being the same. Same colors, same everything. Apparently I did one slightly longer than the other because I have like one row of that slightly darker purple. But whatever. Like I said, I haven't worn these yet. It's been too hot to wear socks, so I'm excited to have these available for winter. And then the leftovers, I'm going to be doing Genevieve's tube socks for my niece. I'm hoping to get a pair out of the leftovers for her, which will be nice. And then I have another skein of this for my mom. So I'm going to do a pair of socks like this for my mom someday, eventually. Who knows when. And then the last thing I finished was my Camp Loopy project. I bought 3 skeins of Into the World Dresden DK in the Kettle Dyed Moriarty colorway. My camera is not wanting to focus today, apparently. I'm using the good camera. I think I'm using the good camera. Pretty sure. There we go. I just have to cover like my shirt because it has writing on it. And that's what it wants to focus on my face. And I was knitting a brickless, which is done. It's huge. I did the full, so the pattern gives you the outline of the 3 sections, the lace, the garter, the ribbed, and then it says repeat these 5 more times. So 6 repeats total, and then you do the lace section an additional time. So I did a super stretchy bind off. I did not do this last lace section as long as it's supposed to be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I did it 8 sections, 8 round row repeats before binding off, and I did a super stretchy bind off, and I didn't pin it out to block it, so the last lace section isn't really as blocked out as it should or could or would be. So this is the end. This is how deep it gets. And then it just keeps going and going and going and going and going. It's the Energizer Bunny. I actually had trouble blocking this out. The area that I have in my office / spare bedroom is not quite long enough to block this all out nicely. So I used 2.2. I'm a turtle. I used 2.2 skeins total. So I have almost a full skein left over. I probably could have gotten away with just using 2 skeins if you wanted to shorten it and do, like, it would end then here. Like this would be your, this lace section right here would be your last. If you were to do 5, so it would be a little bit smaller, and I could have gotten away with only using 4 skein or 2 skeins instead of breaking into the third. But I already had the third wound up, winded. I already had the third wound up and ready to go. So I'm going to use the leftovers to make a hat for a friend. I actually have a pattern all picked out for that too. Let's see. I'm going to, it's a Jared Flood pattern from their Arbor collection. It was originally used, or was originally done for their Quarry base, which is a chunky weight, but they, when their DK weight was released, they redid it. Burnaby. The Burnaby hat by Jared Flood is what I'm going to do. So it has a Gansey pearl knit section. Oh, excuse me. And then it's got a cable. Gansey cap for chunky and DK weight yarns. So that's what I'm going to do with the leftovers. So maybe that'll be finished the next time. The next time I record, which will be in about 2 weeks. So, finished objects. No, we just did finish objects. I'm losing my mind. I don't know how much of it there's left. Works in progress. In my Fat Squirrel fiber sock bag with polka dots on the inside is a skein of Knit Early Things Vesper yarn in the Woodlands colorway, I believe this is. Knitting pair of socks for a friend who is from Puerto Rico and is looking at immigrating to Canada. I am this far. He has big man feet. He wears a US size 12 men's foot sock shoe. US men's size 12 shoe. So I cast on, I've never knit a sock for feet bigger than mine. And I wear a women's size 10 or 10 and a half. And then my mom's feet are a little bit smaller. So these seem really big. So I cast on 76 stitches on a US size 0. And my whole hand can fit into here and not even stretch it out. So I feel for the longest time when I actually just picked it up last night, and I was like on this beige stripe. And it's been sitting this much done from here to here for like a month. Because every time I pick it up, it seems so big. I get so much anxiety while working on it. Because I feel like it's going to be too big. But he keeps saying he has big feet, and I've decided, obviously, to try to put my anxiety aside and just truck along in the hope that it will fit. If it does not fit, I will cry. I will be upset, and then I will rip them out and re-knit them probably. Or find somebody with bigger feet who deserves hand-knit socks, right? Ugh. So yeah, this is in her 75/25 superwash merino nylon. I think she's calling it thick sock now, which is what I get all of her yarn. All of her colorways are always in the thick sock for me. I love this base. I like a thicker sock. I like that it's not a 2-ply. So yeah, it's really pretty. It's fun to knit when I'm not psyching myself out. What's in this bag? Oh, these are my leftovers. Victorian Gothic. I have enough to knit easily another Windscheef, so I'm going to have to do that at some point. Because those are my size 7s. Okay. Because I still need to knit a hat for a friend and mail it and deal with all that fun stuff. The next thing is in another Fat Squirrel fiber bag. She's having an update tonight. I don't know if I'm gonna. This is out of Nomadic Yarns Brit Sock in the Amortentia colorway. I thought this dark stripe was blue. It's not, it's purple. It's a really dark bluey purple, so it kind of looks blue. I have one sock done. I have a hoe. These I knit, like I knit her Sassenach colorway, and I knit them on size zeros. And for her Brit sock base, it is a slightly thicker base, and so 64 stitches on a size zero fits me nicely. So that is what I'm doing. I have literally cast on the second sock. That's all I have done is cast on the second sock. So I have one sock done, and I have cast on the second one. That's it. I haven't even joined it in the round. It's just cast on. Next. I told you I'd been working on a lot of things. I picked up my flax sweater. I am knitting this out of Madeline Tosh Vintage in the Steam Age colorway. These are short skeins, so they have 190 yards, and I have 10 of them. I have 1,900 yards of it. It's in a bird legs bag, fox bag. One of the first project bags I bought. I actually really prefer Fat Squirrel Fibers because they have a little bit more heft to them because she interfaces them. But that's just personal preference. So I picked this up. It feels like I'm in the black hole of knitting because I finished the sleeves and the increases for the sleeves in the beginning of May. And I am about 10 inches from the underarm into the body. And I know I'm making progress because I finished 2 more. This is 4 skeins of yarn already total. So I do have number 5 and 6. I am alternating skeins every 2 rows, which is a blessing and a freaking curse. So I know I'm making progress because I'm obviously using up yarn, but I'm in the black hole of stockinette in the round for days. But it's turning out really nice. It's not pooling or anything, which is helpful. I don't know if switching yarns every 2 rows is really helping it not pool. Like I can't tell that I'm switching every 2 rows. I mean, maybe that's the point. And because of the way I'm holding it, I keep sliding stitches off the needles, and that worries me. So I am doing this in the 58-inch bust size. And I'm trucking along. Like I said, I know I'm getting somewhere because I'm like 10 inches down now. I have to go 18 total and then start ribbing. And I'm using yarn, but it still feels like I'm going nowhere. I guess that's the definition of stockinette zombie, hey? Next, I am knitting the row cardigan out of Louette Gems Merino Worsted. I think that's the name of it. I don't even have a tag here. In the steel gray colorway. As you can see, it is purple. It even looks purple on here. Focus, please. Focus. 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 Oh no. Maybe it's focusing on this. Maybe it's focusing on the Kleenex box. I don't know. There we go. Focus. So this is a worsted weight, 100% superwash merino. I'm finding it splitty, but that could be the needles that I'm working on. Usually if you find stuff splitty, it's because you're working on needles that are too sharp. And I really like Hiya sharps. So it's entirely possible. I am still working on the ribbing that never ends. This goes all the way around. I'm in the middle of a row because I ran out of yarn. So I finished another 2 skeins of yarn. I have 4 skeins left. This is 2 of them. I need to do, I think, 3 more inches of ribbing, 2 or 3. And I'm going from like, here's where the ribbing starts, it goes all the way around, and this is where the ribbing ends. And it's like 500 plus stitches. And once again, I'm in a black hole of knitting where it never seems to get any longer, but I'm using up yarn and I'm shoving stitches off my needles. So I have to be getting somewhere if I'm using up yarn, right? That's the going theory, as it were. So basically, I knit on this one until I ran out of yarn and had to wind more and didn't feel like winding more. And then I picked up my flax and knit that till I ran out of yarn and then didn't feel like winding more. So they both sat here for like 2 days while I needed to wind yarn. And then one day when I got home from work, I just wound it, both of them. And I picked up the flax again and did probably another 2 inches on that, but I haven't picked up this and attached the new skein because this whole ribbing for days thing, yeah, I am 5.5 inches in, so I have 2.5 more inches of ribbing. Then the ribbing gets folded in half and attached to the body, so it's a double folded over collar, double thickness folded over collar. There is no, like, this is the button band, but there are no buttons or closures to this. And then I still need to knit 1 sleeve, and then I have to seam both sleeves in, and then it's finally done. I need to get this done by August long weekend. So that has been worked on, kind of. That's falling, and oh, I've got so much crap. I'm feeling so overwhelmed by my knitting. It's very stressful sometimes, and it's my own fault because I just keep casting things on. Like, why'd I cast these on when I still have these? I don't need 2 pairs of socks on the go. I only knit on one thing at a time. I don't know why I have 2 sweaters on the go. Mad May. Curse you, Mad May, for making me think that I can do more than I can. That's what I'm going with. One thing that I have been working on, now while my mother was out, I showed her my granny squares for my granny square blanket that I've been doing out of scraps. So like all of these. And so my mom crocheted like 4 of them. One's already. These are all out of leftover lollipop yarns in the Kama Sutra colorway. This was the contrasting heels and toes for that. So this project has been inspired by Glenna C., who is a knitwear designer out of Toronto, I believe. Anyway, I still have, I have a bunch of mini skeins that need to go into here. Like, these aren't even mini skeins. These are little sample skeins from, well, one's obviously from Diabolical. Most of them are from Ethereal Fiber Arts. And then I have this leftover of Sassenach I want to do another square out of. And then I have, this is Lollipop Yarns First World Problems that I need to do some squares out of. And then this is my Scrumptious Pearl Luck of the Irish that I need to do some squares out of. This was another mini skein from Ethereal Fiber Arts, which I have already done a square out of, but I obviously have more yarn left over. So the last time I counted, I had 42 of these centers done. Um, and the goal is to, like, I've just kind of been crocheting on them when I want to. Because it doesn't take long to finish a square. It's only a couple rounds. Um, and then I was going to buy a neutral. I was undecided about what I was going to use for my neutral. If I was going to go with a natural, a cream, like a white cream, or do a gray. And so I finally made up my mind and I ordered this. I ordered 4 skeins of this. This is Tennis Fiber Arts in her Pure Wash Fingering in Natural. So it's an undyed natural color. I almost wish I had gone with her blue label, and I still could. Her blue label is slightly thicker. It's a merino nylon. This is 100% merino. And she gives you a generous amount. The skeins are, I think, 113 grams over 4 ounces, and it's 450 yards per skein. So I have 4 skeins of this. And so I decided that I was going to join as you go. I didn't want to have to seam everything. So I started working on doing I was going to do another round of the white and then attach it. So I have some seamed together. This is Lollipop. This is Tennis Fiber Arts in one of her variegated colorways that she did ages and ages ago. This is Nomadic Yarn Sassenach, the first square. Mum started it, I finished it. This is Tosh Sock in the Well Water colorway, and this is Twisted Limone out of the UK in one of her stealth striping. So then I attached it, and I found a join as you go method, and obviously I did it like these were the first 2 that I attached, and I did it a little differently than I'm doing it going forward so that it's a little bit sturdier. So yeah, the blanket's actually started. None of these have been washed or blocked. Not even the middle squares, I'm not washing or blocking them. They are all kinds of sizes depending on the weight of the sock yarn, and my mom's squares are a little bit bigger than mine, even out of the same base. But we're doing it anyway. Don't care. So that's the last thing. That's the last thing? That is the last thing. That's the last thing that I've been working on. Next up is, I know I had talked about that Dresden DK. I'm going to do a hat out of. I have the rest of the Martian Rainbow that I'm going to do some tube socks out of. And then I wound up this. This is Madeline Tosh Work Sock in the Soot / Hosta Blue colorway. So it came in the skein. Half of it was it looks like it was dip dyed in this blue, which is Hosta Blue. And then the rest was dyed in their speckled soot colorway. And I'm going to knit a pair of socks out of this. Work sock is really nice. It's a merino nylon. It's a thick sock. It's actually labeled as a sport base. You get 400 yards in a skein, so it's totally meant to be like sock yarn. It's been part of their 3-month club, which is now available all the time on an ongoing basis. And I've bought so much of this. I love the way it feels. I haven't even knit with any of it yet, but I just love that it's a thicker sock base. It has nylon. And I'm really excited. I love Madeline Tosh. So I'm going to knit a pair of socks out of that. I already have the needles in there. And I think that's it. So, yeah, my parents were out. I kind of already talked about that. Dog is doing fine. He's sleeping on the couch, on the other side of the couch right now, because that's basically what he does. I have a quiet weekend ahead, which is good. I mean, I have some work to do for clients and stuff, but it's mostly going to be a quiet weekend, I think. I'm going to go to the off-leash park. Um, oh, excuse me. I'm yawning in your face now. So I'm going to go because I'm yawning in your face. I don't even think I said the date. It's June 23rd. 2017. Started this at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Hope you guys are having fun and enjoying what you're knitting, and I will talk to you later. Bye.